this whole beauty journey started. Well, I had just graduated from high school, and I had just had my son. Um, he was probably about 6 months old, so was got pregnant in my senior year. So the type of person I was just like this go getter, But graduating from school, I thought it wasn't. I didn't have that opportunity to go to college. I didn't think it was good for me at that time to go to college. So I had to, figure out what I want to do in my life. 18 years old, had a child, and I definitely wasn't going to twiddle my thumbs. But I had to figure out what I wanted to do. And with the mindset I had back then, I thought, okay, if I got a job at the post office, I can make good money. For me at that time, that was the ultimate job. So went through the process, had about 3 interviews, and that third interview, I just knew I had it. Got up that morning, dressed, ready to go, and to hear that you have the job. And so made it through the interview, and they told me that I didn't get the job. Well, completely disappointed. I was outside, pouring down raining. Of course, we didn't have cell phones, so I'm crying. I'm upset. I'm calling my dad, come get me. Oh my God, I didn't get the job. And at the moment, I thought it was just the end of the world. I couldn't get a check. I couldn't work a 9 to 5 and make good money. So I just thought, like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. So I get home and, in that mood. And my mom said, you know what? You're good at doing hair. You should go to school for hair. And I thought, good at doing hair. Like, in my mind, I thought all black girls knew how to do hair. But it was true in my circle of friends. I was the one that would curl the hair. We would go out or whatever, go to the games. I'm always the one to get everybody, curls together or what have you. And for some reason, I had that in my house. I had my dryer. I had this little thing that was like a station in my bedroom. And, but it was just in me. I didn't even want to do hair. That was nothing that how people say, I've been wanting to do hair all my life. And no, that was not my story. But I could. And so my mom said that. I was like, hair? She said, you're good at it. You might as well, that's your gift. And I said, okay, well, let me try that. So I got enrolled into a beauty college, and that was a great moment for me. I was excited. I remember, getting my kit and everything and having to go and shop for my white uniform and my white shoes. And, I was just super excited. So I get to class and, I started school. And I was more intrigued about the theory than I was actually hands-on doing hair. And so when we started to go through our textbook and stuff like that, and we had tests every Friday, I'm telling you, I was excited. And I did very well on my classes and on my different subjects. And so after you get so many hours, you move on to the floor. Moving on to the floor, I realized that I was pretty good at it, and the administration, wanted me to do their hair, wanted me to do their roller sets, and, the things that we did back then, and some of the students, like, I want Katana to do my hair. And so I started feeling really like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is fun. This is, I got the theory first, so I understood that. And then, now I'm hands on, and it was just great. And then I was getting clients, and, the school would get paid, but you would get the tips or what have you. But I felt good, like this is it. And so I became very, very hungry to learn about, everything that this industry had to offer. And so I had to stop for a minute. My mom was taking care of my son, and she had gotten sick, and I had to stop going to school for a while. And I think at that time I was working for Kroger, and I had to stop, so I was working at Kroger, and with always the desire is I need to go back to school. And I would also do hair at home. I do my family members, and their friends, and that would help me make my little extra money or what have you. And so I went back. No, I'm sorry. Let me rewind. Because when I stopped going to school for a while, I wasn't working public assistance. Yes, I was on public assistance, and so um, the money that I got from public assistance was enough to pay my rent. And so I needed more money. And so I was doing hair in the house. I was doing curls, you know, quadra curls and, you know, luster curls and all of that. And so I was doing all that in the house. And so I was just making extra money to live. And so once I was able to go back, I went back to school and I finished. When I went back, I finished school. And while I was in school the second time is when I got hired at Kroger. And I worked there for a few months. But anyway, so I'm there and finally graduated. And I remember the day I graduated, it was just like, wow, you know. And so while you're in school, everybody's, you know, got your head pumped, or not even that your head pumped. It's just you like what you were doing and you were great at it and you were always busy. And so once I graduated and it was time to get into these beauty salons, it went from here to here. Because it was like, I need some money. I'm sitting in this chair and nobody's coming. And, you know, and then the very first salon I remember working in, it was a lot of activity. And it wasn't where I wanted to be. So I left there and I worked at Accent. Accent was in Swifton Commons in Swifton. And it was in the lower level in the back. And it was just, I mean, clients, it was just like, oh my God, it was so many people. And I was on commission. So I worked there for a while. And then I moved on to Jimmy Vans. And this was in College Hill on Marlowe. Well, that was my son's name, on Marlowe. So I worked there. And I remember working there and feeling extremely discouraged because I didn't have clients. I had a few, but it wasn't what I wanted and it wasn't what I needed to live. And I remember sitting there and the owner is making money, the person next to me is making money, but I'm not. And I'm getting discouraged because I didn't expect it. I didn't expect that. I expected to continue like it was in beauty college, but you go to the bottom of the totem pole when you leave beauty college. And so we didn't have social media. And so I made it a point to put my feet to work. And I would make flyers, make copies of my flyers. This wasn't on the computer. This was with a magic marker, my creativity. And I would make copies and I would go down to Aiken High School and I would pass out cards and pass out my flyers, and I would sell myself. I would go to Kroger and I would sell myself. Like I had to go face to face with people and sell myself. Well, then people started to come to give me a try. And then when they would come, I would do a great job. If it took me 3 hours, I would do a great job. And then they would go back to school, and then they would tell their friend, and then they would come. And so really my clientele was built at, this is a high school in Cincinnati called Aiken High School. A lot of the kids from Aiken High School started to come. And so I started to, take my time, do a great job, and they would fall in love, and then it was word of mouth. But it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight. I would say I was licensed maybe about 3 years, maybe 2 or 3 years before my clientele really started to grow. So that's kind of how it all started. And I will, eventually drop some nuggets that I've learned over the years. But that's how my career in the beauty industry started. I was 19. I had just turned 19 in September 1st. And I started that month later in October. And my son was 6 months old. And I remember very clearly, it was downtown on 6th and, I think that's 6th and Race. It was downtown. And that's the beginning of my story. And now I'm 55. I started at 19, 18. Now I'm 55. And so I've done it for so many years. And now, I made a decision to walk away from the chair. And it has been a challenge, but I had to do it because I know that there's more that God has.